Hi, my name is Corey and I'm with the Exhibits Department at the WDM. Welcome back to my kitchen. Over the next little while, I'll be exploring some of the recipe books in our collection, pulling out a recipe and sharing them with you. So enjoy! The popularity of pierogi in Western Canada can be traced to the immigration of Polish and Ukrainian people from the Galicia region, starting with the first wave in the 1890s. With the Carpathian Mountains on its southern border, Galicia was a large region that spanned what is now Poland and Ukraine. Two things happened over time in Canada to do with pierogi. Originally, the dish was reserved for special occasions. As more and more Canadians embraced the dumpling, it became a staple in households everywhere. Also, pierogi is Polish in origin, while Varenyky is the Ukrainian name. However, over time, pierogi has become the general term for these delectable delicacies. The Hutterite Community Cookbook details a recipe that they equate to cottage cheese pierogi, showing that many cultures have similar recipes. This book dates from 1992. The recipe from the cookbook, arranged by the Choiceland United Church women, uses mashed potatoes in the dough recipe. This book was published in 1984. Taken from the 1980 Alvina Homecoming Cookbook, this never-fail recipe once again uses mashed potatoes in the dough. This recipe also details several fillings that could be used. In 1946, Co-op released a cookbook with a Ukrainian recipe. This recipe uses straight flour and water with just a pinch of salt. The filling featured is a dry cottage cheese filling. This next recipe is one that you won't find in any cookbook. With both Polish and Ukrainian heritage, the featured recipe is my mom's recipe. In memory of her, I want to dedicate this video in her honor and share with you Emily's pierogi recipe. While several other fillings can be used, the potato cheddar is the one I'll be demonstrating here. There is a Ukrainian saying that there are as many pierogi dough recipes as there are Ukrainian cooks. Let's start. Cube the potatoes and rinse with cold water. Put in a pot and add cold water. Season the water with salt. Then boil the potatoes until you can pierce a piece with a knife and the piece of potato slides right off. The flesh will also look a little rough. Drain the potatoes and add them to a bowl for mashing. Give the potatoes an initial mash, but while they are still steaming, add the cheddar cheese. Mash again to melt and incorporate the cheese. Next, add in the caramelized onions and spices. Mash to thoroughly incorporate. Taste the mixture and add any seasonings if needed. Set aside to cool. In a separate mixing bowl, add the salt to the flour and mix. Then add in the margarine, sour cream, and whipping cream. Mix until you obtain a crumbly texture. Next, add in most of the water and mix. While continuing to mix, add in water until the dough is slightly sticky to touch. Cover the bowl with a cold, damp tea towel and set aside for at least an hour. On a well-floured surface, roll out a portion of the dough. Roll to a thickness of about 1/8 of an inch. Transfer to a cutting mat or similar surface. My family makes triangular shaped pierogi, so using a rotary cutter or just a knife, cut the dough into squares that are just under 2 inches square. Next, take approximately a teaspoon of potato filling and place in the center of a dough square. Then fold a corner to the opposite corner and pinch. Working your way down each side, pinch tightly, making sure that no filling is between the dough, as this will not produce a secure seal. Lay on a sheet pan lined with lint-free tea towel. Stack no more than 2 levels high making sure to separate each layer with a lint-free tea towel. These pierogi can either be boiled for an immediate dish or frozen like this for at least 6 hours. Once individually frozen, they can be stored in a freezer bag or container to be cooked later. If you're cooking fresh pierogi, drop them into salted boiling water, making sure to swirl the water as you continue to drop in more pierogi. 40 maximum in a medium to large pot. Once the pierogi float to the surface, they are done. If you are cooking from frozen, drop the frozen pierogi into boiling water that has been salted. Stir delicately but constantly. Once the pierogi float and puff up, they are done. Drain and rinse the cooked pierogi with cold water. Toss with melted butter, margarine, or olive oil to prevent them from sticking. Serve with caramelized onions and sour cream or with a mushroom sauce. So after all that hard work, you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And there's nothing better for me than a pierogi filled with potato and cheddar filling. And I like to enjoy mine with a little sauteed onions and some sour cream. So however you pronounce it, just enjoy it. See you later. Now don't forget to try the recipe and let us know how it turned out.